This is something that is on my mind for a long time. You know how much I love CRPGs, but I think they are missing out on their true potential. Welcome to another Ramblings of a Madman video. Time to criticize CRPGs a bit. CRPGs are one of the best genres in terms of quality per playthrough if the game is any good. They tell amazing stories, introduce ridiculous amounts of interesting characters, usually have many interesting ways to finish quests, players can influence the world in many ways by creating order or chaos, utilize variety of skill sets, create variety of builds and party combinations, find equip unique artifacts, battle all sorts of mystical beings, play as fantasy creatures and races. The last one is the topic of this video. Main character race is an interesting aspect of CRPGs where a player can truly experience fantasy races and how differently the world reacts to them and them to the world. Good CRPGs make you truly feel that difference between races. 30 years ago or so, having couple races outside human was enough. Elves, dwarves, orcs and halflings for the most part. Don't get me wrong, I'm not spoiled by wanting more, but I've been playing RPGs for so long now that something new and different should be a nice change. Something out of the ordinary that can create vastly different experiences. Shadowrun games had a particular race I would love to see more in CRPGs, that is a troll. And ogre too, in that same category. I get that it's a sci-fi CRPG where races are presented a bit differently. I was thinking more of a medieval troll that can talk in a limited way, and some races like humans don't even want to talk with such a race, which limits options like quest solutions or even at times not being able to get a quest from a pub where trolls would be forbidden to enter. However, when it comes to fighting, trolls would be a nightmare for the enemies. Win somewhere, lose somewhere. It would create high replayability to have the world limit each race to an extent, or significantly increase skill check requirements for a troll to pass a check to even persuade people to listen to it, which would require building the troll in an atypical way even through its limitations, which in turn takes away from its strengths because expanding on its strengths would be a much easier and more effective way than building through its weaknesses to become at least mediocre at something that he is initially very bad at. Another race I would love to see are goblins, complete opposite of trolls and ogres. Much weaker in combat, but quite adept socially, with many mischievous tricks up their sleeve and sneaky options leading to stealing and cutting throats. Not to mention how fun they would be in dialogues with their sassy nature. Underworld of rogues, thieves and murderers would usually welcome such creature with open arms. Then imagine playing as a vampire or werewolf. During the day can't go outside but stick to the underground exploring tunnels, mines, temples, crypts, dungeons and such. Then during night charming humans, stealing loot and blood in a more civilized way. Maybe even creating connections in the town council. Something that more aggressive and intellectually limited werewolf couldn't do. Let alone a troll or an ogre. Werewolves being scary overpowered brutes in combat, while vampires use a more agile and spellcasting oriented approach. You get my point, right? Having more races that are way out there disconnected from the civilized societies. Game that I recall doing this the best by offering incredibly fun options is Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous and its mythic paths. Lich, Angel, Demon, Golden Dragon, Devil, Swarm, Trickster, Aeon, Azata. Fuck yes, that's what I'm talking about. Pathfinder story campaign because of mythic paths is the most epic I've ever played. What a list that is compared to others. There are still basic races to start off with, but at least we got incredible options to transform into later if nothing else. Owlcat didn't stop at the basic races only, as there are exotics like Vampire Race Dhampir, Oread and Weird Kitsune. My favorite CRPG of all time, Fallout, missed a huge opportunity in that aspect. If they've enabled to play as ghouls, mutants or maybe even a Deathclaw, it could lead to vastly different experiences than playing as a human. They would have to stick more to their community and offer limited services to create connections with other races. Deathclaw could be just killing everything in its path, but with an option to start learning to understand basic language, which could open other opportunities. If I recall correctly, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines did a great job in making the world react to your vampire type choice, but it was a much more compact world. Question becomes, how realistic are such different experiences in a single game? We already have high replayability in CRPGs due to the number of builds and playthrough styles through decisions like good, evil and all the versions in between. Would adding another huge experience changing factor like race be realistic? I think it would, but then having an insane world size with a huge number of quests might be unrealistic, because the number of outcomes might be too problematic to code. Maybe it would have to be simpler in a way, which I wouldn't mind at all. Question would also be how to implement companions in that equation. Some wouldn't want to join certain races at all, which is fair. That could lead to even more distinctive experience per playthrough. Biggest problem that I can't seem to find the best solution for is how would companions influence the world. If you're a troll that is very limited in communicating with races that aren't goblins and orcs, could you just switch to another companion to take over? For example, control dwarven companions for dwarven cities? Or maybe limit companion options to just races that are friendly or at least indifferent to yours, so that something like dwarf wouldn't be able to even join the party with troll as a main character. Or should the main character be the only one that does the communicating? If companions are just bots that do the combat part and nothing else, it wouldn't be that immersive, but it could be an easy solution for more race inclusion and distinction. I love CRPGs more than any other genre because they are, in my opinion, the highest quality single-player gaming genre. We get to play as many different things and influence the world in many different ways based on our choices. Build characters to fight as cool fantasy classes. That is all great, but I think the biggest asset that the fantasy world can do to make RPGs much more interesting are the races and the distinctive experiences that some of them could provide compared to the classic ones. Anyway, I just wanted to share these thoughts with you role-playing bastards. Description, merch, Patreon, subscribe, start, blah blah. You know how it goes, it's there if you want it. Thanks for watching.